Well, this afternoon, Prime Minister Bruce Golding, he said that based on an update and advice from the security forces, he summoned an emergency meeting of the cabinet at 2 p.m. today to consider the advice. The cabinet took the decision to advise the Governor General to issue a proclamation pursuant to Section 26 of the Constitution, declaring that a state of emergency exists in the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew. The proclamation shall remain in force for a period of 1 month unless extended by the House of Representatives or revoked earlier. A state of emergency means at any time a person can be stopped on the road, questioned and taken into custody if they have no explanation for their presence on the public property. And again, the decision followed the cabinet meeting earlier today. Now, a member of the Allen Special Constabulary Force is now nursing injuries arising from the upheaval in the downtown Kingston area. The officer was shot in the hand, but his condition is not known. The incident occurred reportedly as members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force attempted to clear roadblocks in the downtown Kingston area. The police report that they came under sustained gun attack from criminals firing rifles, which forced them to take extraordinary measures to protect staff and to secure the facilities. And the police high command is instructing law-abiding residents to get out of Tivoli and surrounding communities as they have buses waiting at the corridors of Industrial Terrace and Marcus Garvey Drive to transport them out of their respective communities. But we're getting reports that persons have been unable to leave. Reports to our news team are that the gunfire has also extended to sections of Crossroads. And the extent of the damage to the Hannahtown police station is still not yet known. The station was set on fire by gunmen this afternoon, and our news center has received reports that a computer and a television and cash were removed from the station before it was set ablaze. Andrew Cannon was also in the area, and he is actually in downtown Kingston as we speak, and he joins us live. Good afternoon, Andrew. Evening, rather.
Alright, hello General, good evening to you and good evening to the listeners. Well, I was in the downtown Kingston area earlier, however we have left, and what we witnessed were some dramatic scenes. We were in the vicinity of the Central Police Station, and there a punctured armored vehicle of the police, it was being transported by the police. However, while they were transporting that vehicle, they had police on either side of the vehicle, and they came under, well, we did hear a lot of gunfire in the area, sustained gunfire, and at one point we did see the police trying to take cover, even as they as well tried to return the fire, and it was a period of sustained heavy fire of high-powered weapons, and the gunshots were coming from all over the place. We couldn't specifically say where exactly. However, the police, when we left them, they were in the process of carrying that armored vehicle. It had some defect. The wheel seemed to have been punctured. It was being towed, and it seemed to have some kind of effect. However, while the police were transporting it, they came under some fire apparently, and the fire was very heavy, and it was for a sustained period. That notwithstanding, though, interestingly, again, quite a number of persons were on the street. Quite a number of persons were walking about. Curious onlookers had gathered to find out what was happening, but even as the gunshots rang out, persons were still walking about, and some persons didn't seem the least bit fearful, which was a bit interesting again.
Man, I'm gonna play a ball.
You had mentioned the issue of those buses that should be standing by to transport persons out of Tivoli Gardens.
Yes.
Well, approximately sometime after 6 o'clock, we were traversing that Marcus Garvey
British flag
area, and we did not see any of those buses, so we don't know if they are going to come subsequently. But while we were there, we did not see any of the buses. But interestingly, what we did see there was a detachment of police, and they were basically out of their vehicles. They had their guns at the ready, and they were monitoring the situation very closely. We ventured as far again in other sections of downtown Kingston, for example, Ocean Boulevard, and again we did see a number of police officers there. They were in their vehicles, some were walking about, and it seems as if they had gotten some kind of information, because from time to time they were just moving as if they were they hear something and they are going to deal with a particular situation, so to speak.
All right, I want to go go back to that issue of the buses that have been reportedly provided for residents who wanted to evacuate the area. You're saying that you have not seen any of these buses?
At approximately sometime after 6 o'clock, about 5 minutes after 6 or 10 minutes after 6, when we traversed that area, we did not see any bus. And we looked for, because we had also gotten the report that you had, that the buses were standing by. However, when we went there sometime after 6 o'clock, there were no buses. I don't know if they are going to come subsequent to that. However, what we did see a number of police in their vehicles with their weapons, and they were just standing by. So perhaps the situation is that they're going to stand by and try to secure the area first. But when we went there were no buses.
Okay, Andrew, interestingly, you noted that despite the state of emergency, you still see persons milling around downtown Kingston. Have you been able to speak to anyone? What is it that you're hearing on the ground?
Well, most of them, they thought, and they said, CVM, Ray, as if some kind of, as if this is a normal Sunday for dance activities. And many of them were just laughing and waved at us. Many of them were speaking to each other. But one particular person had said, it's one man against the world. And when that particular person said that, many persons laughed and nodded in agreement. So, well, also, we did observe that a number of stations were on radio. A number of radios were on, so persons would have been aware that there is this situation. But nonetheless, as I said before, it's interesting because a number of persons are still on the road, including very young persons walking about, doing their normal activities, laughing, giggling, as if, nothing is going on, which is interesting.
Andrew, I'm also curious. You speak of a police presence. What about the military?
Based on what we are observing, it is mainly police we are seeing. From time to time, we did observe a soldier or two, but based on our observations, what we've seen are mainly policemen in their dark suits, dark blue going to black, and they are in the police vehicles, the JCF vehicles, be it vans, and of course, from time to time, a lot of police armored carriers. So that is what we are seeing.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew. Is there anything else that we should know?
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to keep you updated. We're still going to check about those buses in terms of those buses standing by. So we should be venturing there, Marcus Garb here, to see if those buses are there. As soon as we get that information, we'll pass it on to you. So we'll keep you abreast as soon as we have something.
What about the issue of other police stations in addition to Hannahtown being firebombed? Have you been getting any word on that?
Well, we did go to, we passed by other police stations, and based on what we have observed is that the police are just preparing themselves for any eventuality. Because when we ventured into a number of police stations in the corporate area, the police are basically ready to move, or they have this look on their faces as if they are preparing or they are prepared for something. So it's as if they are prepared for any eventuality, so to speak. That's what we are observing.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew. Of course, we will have more updates from Andrew Cannon as he continues to rove the downtown Kingston area. Please be safe out there, Andrew.
Andrew Brave.
Now, the state-run Jamaica Urban Transit Company have pulled their service to and from downtown Kingston due to the unstable condition and the announced state of emergency. Several commuters have been significantly affected by bus operators had to find alternative means to travel to get passengers to and from downtown Kingston. And we are now joined by Reginald Allen, the communications manager at the JUTC. Good evening, Mr. Allen. Okay, and he is not there just yet, but as a result, we are also being told that Spanish Town to downtown route, which normally runs 3 miles at Marcus Garvey Drive, will not travel to 3 miles, and Spanish Town route to Spanish Town and the Spanish Town Center. Now,
on radio and television at 8 o'clock this evening. We will have more on the events that led to the state of emergency, but earlier this afternoon, our sister station, RGR, spoke with Security Minister Dwight Nelson, who explained why the government declared a temporary state of emergency.